Welcome to What's Hot Harlem America with G. Keith Alexander. The crossroads where culture, lifestyle, and community meet, all hosted by the legendary New York radio TV personality and proud Harlem American, G. Keith Alexander.
And welcome to What's Hot Harlem America with G. Keith Alexander. Wherever you are, I appreciate you for joining our neighborhood as we hang out together in Harlem America. Today in the What's Hot Spotlight is Tony Award winner, publicist, and Broadway producer, Irene Gandy. She's the first and only Black woman registered in the Association of Theatrical Press Agents and Managers. Irene has worked with a diverse group of artists, including Lena Horne, Bob Fosse, David Mamet, the Jackson Five, LaBelle, Patti LuPone, Felicia Rashad, and many others. And Irene was inducted into the New York Public Library's Lincoln Center Performing Arts Library. So it is my distinct honor and pleasure to say the legendary Irene Gandy is what's hot. Hello there, Irene.
Keith. Thank you for that glowing introduction. That reminds me I have to get a library card so I can look myself up. But no, it was really, but it was a great honor to be in the Performing Arts Library. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Schomburg. So let me just say that. Hopefully I'll be in there soon. But to be able to be inducted, so people can look me up and see, no, she really said that.
Well, yeah, well, you know, for folks who don't know, for folks who listen outside of New York, the Schomburg is also part of the New York Public Library system as well. So, so all we got to do is move the card over to
to Black culture.
Yeah. You know,
I think I might get in there once the white people. I'm cultured now with the white people. Maybe a couple of years later, the Black people let me in the Schomburg. Before I die, I want to see it. But no, I love the Schomburg. I love the Schomburg because they really support the arts. And anytime I have a show on Broadway with people of color, I make sure we have a panel and support the Schomburg Library. They do good work.
They do, and plus they've got a new executive director now.
Oh, she's amazing. She's amazing. I met her. Yeah. Women do it. Women do it.
That's right. So Irene, it is such a pleasure to have you. I mean, you're hot off of the Tony Awards, and you have 2 Tonys. Tell us about your 2 Tonys.
Well, the first thing I have to say, I'm a behind the scenes person, G. Keith, and I had to do these interviews for the Tonys Awards, and I don't like it. But for you, I came out of retirement to do post-Tony interview. Well, the first.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, seriously, you know me, I'm really behind the scenes. Well, my first one I received in 2012. What is it? 2012. And this is for the Gershwin's Porgy and Bess.
Which I saw, beautiful.
Which was very, Diane Paulus directed it. And Audrey McDonald, the great Audrey McDonald,
great performance.
That did A Lady Day Story, and Norm Lewis and David Allen Greer. It was really exciting to work in that production because Susan Laurie Parks, the direction, the book, it was like made Porgy. It was something you'd be proud of. It was not the old feel sorry for Porgy, blah, 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 blah. You know, it was really a positive production, I felt. And I won this as part of the producing team with Jeffrey Richards. And I'm really the first Black woman to really win a Tony because I can't sing or dance or choreograph or direct as a producer. So I'm happy about that. And then this one, like the Kennedy honors, they give honors for people in industry for a long time. And I'm very happy to have received this. Only 4 people got them for being in industry. It's like a Lifetime Achievement Award. And because I said, oh my God, why am I getting this? Because of George Floyd and all the systematic racism. So, oh, no, we decided on this. And I do know they decided like 4 or 5 years, in advance, because you only get 4. They gave them in terms of media and stuff. So I'm very happy to receive this. But I was more happy because none of us have been out when I was on the red carpet and seeing everybody. Normally everyone's like posing in pictures, which we had to do, but the minute we saw each other, we were like running around like a family reunion. Hey, you touched, so it was like the camera said, come on, stop, we need pictures. So it was really, and sharing this honor with Woody King, who's a long time.
Yes, Woody.
Yeah.
Woody just celebrated his 50th anniversary
Yeah.
for the New Federal
New
Theater.
Federal Theater, and they received a special Tony. And I have to give shout out to all of those guys. Like Douglas Turner Ward, none of us would be there. And I think I sent you my acceptance speech.
Yes.
Did you look at it?
I looked at it. You thanked everybody,
and I thank
but
all
me,
of them,
except me. You thanked everybody.
I told you people were going to be mad if I didn't hear, but they know who they are.
You did say that, yeah, you did say that. Well, look here, tell you look gorgeous on the red carpet. Tell us whose design was that?
Okay, all right. This is a true story, not made up, not fabricated, not trying to be funny for this show. It's because I care so much about these things, or not. So a month ago, I ordered a dress for $41.97, a sequin dress from China.
Really? $41 and that was
$41.97. Well, the dress came, it took a month to come, so it came that Wednesday before the Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
What it came in a manila envelope. Okay. I said, what is people sending me? So when I opened up, it was like a gift wrap. It's all these sprinkles. My cat is still looking for the sprinkles. I just had to throw it in garbage. So then I went to David's Bridal and they had Ola Cassini. And the reason I know about David's Bridal is because another who's making history is Sosa, Emilio Sosa. You guys might know him from Project One Way, but he also did all the costumes from Motown. And so we were in there one day and they had like nice dresses. I said, well, let me go to David's Bridal. So that was Ola Cassini. And then my belt, I bought that was like $10. I had bought that like long time ago in the Garment District. And my chunky jewelry, so my beautiful necklace, I think I got that. I remember the district in New York, we have a jewelry district for
yes.
all gone, costume jewelry. And I got that. Oh, I paid a big whopping $20 for that one, but it was like 10 years ago. And I'm not matchy. So I said, oh God, I was looking so straight and so like red carpet. I'm like, at the last one I said, no, this is not me because I have to feel my clothes. So yeah, but I made I'm on AP. I made all the dress list. So
you certainly did. Well, we're going to on our video here, we're going to edit that in so that when we put it on Harlem America TV, our TV channel, people will be able to see your $10 belt and your your outfit. But you were gorgeous. So
thank you.
You're welcome. So let's take the Wayback Machine now. And let's go way back to the beginning. Where did you grow up? How did you grow up? Tell us a little bit about your history.
Okay, so for all of those out there who I'm going too fast, you can Google me, okay? But for G. Keith, that's my normal answer, Google me. But for you, G. Keith, I'm going to tell you.
Thank you.
Well, I grew up in Westbury, Long Island. My dad and mom, they were one of the first Black families to settle there in 1935. I was born in 1943. I had two parents. And we had a nice time. We had a nice life. We built a house from, my mom was a domestic on the Phipps Estate, which is now Old Westbury, and my godfather was a groom. And so I learned, my mom would bring home a lot of stuff that we can learn artistically and stuff. So I had a good time. We weren't like we weren't looking for validation. There are two things I remember when I was 7 years old, the cop stopped my father. And he said, my father said, why are you stopping me? And he said, well, just get out the car. And my father said, well, I have a blue suit at home too. And that's how I was raised. And we weren't trying, my dad never let white people in his house because I was raised, you own what you own. You can do whatever you want with it. Because he was from the South, they didn't let me in. We all know about people, African-American culture, some of us know. our age that, you pay the insurance, you pay $2 for 25 years and you only get $500. So the insurance would come around every week with $2. And my dad wouldn't let him in the house. It would be raining, snowing. I said, no, it's mine. My dad said no. So I grew up with that kind of spirit,
Mhm.
so, and how I got to New York, uh, Mrs. Phipps, they gave me a letter of credit for NYU. That was in 1961. So I
Mhm.
graduated when I was like 16. So I went to NYU in 1961 and I was there for 6 weeks because I was like, this is stupid, and then I just stayed in the village, which I'm in now. And I was I was buck wild because I'd never been anywhere because my parents were old. You had to be home at 9:30. So when I got
Mhm.
to Greenwich Village guys in New York, I was just buck wild. I hung out with Richie Havens and Puerto Talk from the Monkees. It was like a
Really?
whole big community, Sun Ra, all of
Oh.
us, so it was really fun. And then back in those days, people were either doing LSD or something like that. That was a trend. But I
Mhm.
never drank or smoked, so I went to acting school for one day, and then
For
I
one
met
day.
one day I went to acting school, one class. It was Richard
Mhm.
Frankel's class, Gene Frankel workshop. I'll never forget. And then I met a guy in the workshop who took me to an opening night party on Circle and Square. And there was a guy there, a casting director, and he said, "Oh, I'm doing a movie called A Man Called Adam with Sammy
Mhm.
Davis Jr. We're
Oh,
looking for extras.
yes.
Would you like to be an extra?" I said, "Yeah." So I had one day of acting. The next thing I know, I was in the movie. I said, "This is cool." And so I was an extra, and then we had roommates. I lived on Lower East Side, but I never liked the acting so much. I only did one movie. I didn't like people who pick people. I mean, I'm not a picker. I want to be the one to pick people. I
Mhm.
knew that early on. And then I went on with, my stuff. And then when we returned 21, me and my roommate, we said, "Oh, when you're young, you think you did everything, especially, oh, I'm 21, I've done everything. Let's go to Jamaica, not Queens. We were gonna do Jamaica. Let's do Jamaica now. Let's do Jamaica now." And what happened the day I turned 21 was the day that Robert Kennedy was assassinated, the John
Oh,
Kennedy, John F. Kennedy.
oh.
So we talked about that. And then she was going with this bartender in Harlem that that his boss had the black lodge in Casco's,
Mhm.
like it was called Utopia Lodge. It was Peg Leg Bates and Utopia Lodge. She said, "Well,
Oh,
let's
yeah,
go."
yeah. Peg Leg Bates
Yeah,
Lodge,
Peg Leg Bates. And then there
upstate
was
New York.
another one called
Yeah.
Utopia Lodge. So she
Mhm.
was going to be the singer. And I used to dance like, I used to do like my little go-go dancing, not like now, because not like, not like Cardi B and all those guys, but shindig and like that.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, I'll be the go-go dancer. And we got there, but she didn't get the job, and I got the go-go dancer job.
Oh,
And I
really?
got the band. But it was like, well, it's just with the band when people came up with their church groups. So that's where I
Mhm.
met my husband, and that's where Myra came. And we were only people like talk and stuff. And then I came back to New York. Fast forward, I had Myra, and I was living in a building where this guy, he was writing children. Remember the Electric Circus, Keith?
Oh, yes, yes. I
Yeah,
remember that.
and that was, for those who don't know, that was the real Studio 54. That was in the East Village. And he was in my building, and he wrote children's stories. He wrote children's plays for the matinee, for the children's plays for the Electric
Mhm.
Circus and the matinees.
Mhm.
And then his owl was sick to play the owl. And he said, "Oh, Irene, you're an actress. Could you mind playing the owl?" So I said, "Oh, okay." So I went over there, and that was in 1968 where I was reunited with one of the guys I grew up from high school with, Fred Garrett.
Mhm.
And we were so happy to see each other. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, my friend is general manager of Electric Circus, blah, blah." And he said, "Well, I'm working for a place called the Negro Ensemble Company." And and he told me about Douglas Turner Ward, and so you can get into the union, but they wanted to have a resident company like school for
Mhm.
Blacks for free,
Mhm.
where you can have excellence in your theater and stuff like that. But like, if you're in the union, if you're not in the union, no matter how good you are, no one's going to see you.
Right.
And so Douglas Turner Ward, the late Douglas Turner Ward, and Gerald Cronin, Robert Hooks as actor, they formed this company. And on the administrative side, they were looking for the press agent, but and in the 60s, everybody wanted to be in movies or whatever. They wanted to act.
Mhm.
So he
Mhm.
so he said, nobody wants to be a press agent. The white people wanted everybody applied for the job, but it was called a Negro Ensemble Company. So,
Mhm.
he said, Irene, I know I haven't seen you, but I'm gonna have to hire a white person. Would you go up there just for the interview? Because I said, okay. So I went up with an interview. I knew I wasn't going to get a job because I didn't know
Mhm.
what a press agent was, except I'm an old movie buff. So Mae West, my press agent, kidnapped me. So, and I ended up interviewing the interviewer and I got the
Great.
job. And I'm still doing the same thing right now: politics, prostitution, and public relations. Dressed up flunky's job. I may be the governor's, but I don't have the house. Yeah. So there it is. There it is in a nutshell, people.
Well,
50
thank you.
years.
Well, thank you very much, because we're going to take a short break right now. We have the legendary Irene Gandy. She just told us her early beginnings, and we're going to find out more about some of the people she has worked with and some of the productions she's been involved with. So don't go away. I do want to remind you, though, please go to our website at harlemamerica.com to see some of the great articles we have and some of the great podcasts we've done in the early on. And we also have the brand new show we just debuted 2 weeks ago, the Foxworth Theory with Miss Eugenia Foxworth. So please check us out on harlemamerica.com. We'll be right back.
Oh, she's going to be mad because she asked me, somebody asked me to do that show. I'm not doing that show. So just let her know. I don't know her. I don't know her.
Okay.
So don't be mad. Be mad at you.
We'll be right back after this. Thank you. Well, thank you so very, very much, Kevin. We are here with this woman has been involved with so many productions on Broadway. Probably, Irene, would you say about 100 productions?
At least.
Tell us about some
I've been
of the
doing it
productions.
50 years. I mean, I was thinking about that because everyone asked me, what was your favorite show? And, I don't know because I get excited about all of them, but because I'm a marketer, I have to be objective. But I did enjoy the writers. I like David Mamet, who did Glengarry Glen Ross. Of course, August Wilson. I didn't really work on many of August Wilson's shows, but I do like his writing. Bob Fosse. I was on the road with him for a year.
Oh, really?
Matter of fact, he passed away when he was an amazing person. But he got caught up in, the Michael Jackson, how when you don't know, when you're at the party and they're playing some music, you don't really know what to do with, because you're there. It's just that he was at a point where the musical was over. I mean, because people are doing videos now, and he was a choreographer. But I think at the end it was hard for him. I'm just speaking for myself because I was with him, but he didn't really know it fit because he never used to come on the road. But toward the end, he came on the road all the time, and I worked with, of course, all the plays at Negro Ensemble Company. There's some new playwrights. I don't know. I worked with Lena Horne. I mean, because I don't really get caught up in the people. I get caught up in what the message is, because I have to be passionate about it, work on it. As a great press agent, late press agent said, my review is not going to sell one ticket, what I think. And I also remember that I've never written any plays or scores or things like that. But the relationships I've had along the way, they have been amazing. And I've learned a lot, and they've learned a lot from me. So I'm excited about taking my expertise about, because everyone's talking about Broadway, but Black theater companies like New Heritage Theater and Crossroads, they still have been operating bringing excellence to the communities. So now I'm consulting for Crossroads, which is doing great work. You know, they're doing a piece that's opening tomorrow night called Emergency with the great Daniel Coy
Mhm.
Beatty. So yeah, so that's it. And then the young man named this show on Broadway just opened called Thoughts of a Colored Man, which I saw a dress rehearsal last night, was amazing. And these are young people that they're not bringing any emotional baggage with them. They're not the I can'ts, they're the I cans. And I'm doing.
Mhm.
They don't have I can't. They say I can. They don't even say, they just say I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. Like it a lot, live it. This is who I am, and I like that. Now it's just like 10 Black shows on Broadway
Yeah, tell us
this year.
how did that come about? I mean, all of a sudden after the pandemic, Broadway turns Black. How did that
Well,
happen?
I'm voicing my views, not the voice of Voice America or GK. I think with all the racist, I think pandemic really helped a lot of
Mhm.
people in their humanity. It helped and it hurt. Well, it didn't hurt. It helped because we was still. I'd still say, if we weren't stuck at home, the George Floyd and all of the, I say George Floyd, but and I pay homage, not homage. My heart goes out to all of the ones that didn't make the news. I think people saw really, because I think people of non-color think that we just, oh, what do you want? What do you want? Well, here we go again. But it's not. I think we all, even myself, I really realize how what goes on in America, because we live in a special box. You know, we people like you and I, and a lot of people, we never, you know, we live in our own world. You know, we have theater, we have music, and we never know what really goes on. And I think that the people that had the powers to be, that happened because they wanted to show the plays and stuff, and the talent has already been out there, but the money
Mhm.
has not been out there.
Mhm.
So when NYC, the state gave them $16 billion, I'm sure it was to bring back these shows, or, you know, so that's how it happened. Like you can love a tuxedo in the window or love a dress or have passion for it, but the first thing you need is say, how much is it? And so it's sometimes diversity has to do, there's no diversity, I think, on first on Broadway. I mean, there's no, because we use the same lighting designers, you know, because we use people we trust. I mean, that's the way it is. You know, we still go to a show about the New York Times. We look for them to tell us, but I mean, it's an old system, but it's changing. So I think that's what it is. And I think for me to see these Black shows on Broadway, whether they run a day or an hour, they have achieved status where they can say I was on Broadway,
These
because you
the
want to be validated by your excellence. You
right,
you
right,
want to know. You don't want to have to. You want to get. You want to. You don't want to get dressed up to the nines and have nowhere to go.
right.
You don't want to get dressed up to the nines and the person. No offense, the person who has no style or has no taste is commenting what you're wearing. So that's what I, equate these young people or all people
Hmm.
that are coming on Broadway.
I was fortunate in my earlier career to play Broadway for a week.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
where was that?
well, it was at the Palace Theater. The Nederlanders called me and asked me if I would be the MC for the Josephine Baker show for a week. And
That's
so,
where we met. And I said, now I know where we met, because he had an advertising agency. I know exactly. This is where we met,
I
GQ.
was trying to figure out where we met.
That's exactly where we met, because you remember he came to Washington. He had the first, this is a Black man, he had the first cable. Remember he had the first cable? That's exactly where we met, because he hired me.
Really?
This is what, oh my God, I forgot I did the Josephine Baker stuff.
Wow. Well, see now, okay, so now we
Wow.
know. Now we know. Okay, so
Wow.
and that goes back to the 70s.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I forgot how his last name. His name was, but he has an advertising agency. We were
Howard Sanders.
That's exactly. Oh, thank you. That's where we
Howard
met.
Sanders. Okay, all right.
Wow.
I used to go to his office all the time and watch him make deals. Yeah, he was always making deals.
Yeah, but
talk fast.
he brought the first cable to Washington, I remember.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we digress. Go ahead. What else you want to know?
Okay. So yeah. So out of these 10 Broadway shows, they had to be some heavy white investments. These shows were put up by white investors, right?
Well, they got the money from, yeah, I guess some of them. I don't really know. I don't want to, I think, yes, white investors have to put up white investors for their shows.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm,
know,
mm-hmm.
I mean, Broadway is expensive and whoever has the money. But the show that is making history
Mm-hmm.
is the One Thoughts of a Colored Man, which is all the money is put up by the Black producers.
Really?
Brian Moreland. I took him under my wing
Uh-huh.
5 years ago. Brian Moreland, Ron Simons, who was I met him during my producing team of Porgy and Bess. You
Mm-hmm.
have Candy Burris from
Mm-hmm.
Housewives, but she's also from Escape, and she's a total businesswoman. She's more than that. You have
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl Lee Ralph
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying, oh, and Samira Wiley. So these young people are putting their money in where their mouth is. And of course you have to have the Nederlanders and the Schubert because they own the theaters. So they've
Right, right.
kicked in as part of the producers to defray the cost. That's what that means. You know, they'll have, they won't charge them too much.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah,
great. I'm very
yeah.
happy to hear that. So now,
So
as
I'm
a
happy that I lived to see it after 50 years of Broadway. That I lived to see that.
yes,
And the
yes.
play's directed by a Black playwright,
Mhm.
associate director. The general manager is Black. I mean, so it's
Mhm.
really nice. So it's nice to see that. Yeah.
Well, let's hope that that's not the last time that this sort of investment happens with our own productions and things. But
Well,
now,
excuse me for cutting you off, but I
Mhm.
equate it to love. Either you love if you love once, but if it was a last a year or last a minute, you never know love until you loved it all. So it's
that's right.
there, whether we have to know how to, I think we were talking, we're as African Americans, we know how to be hired, but we don't know how to be fired. And it's okay to be fired because sometimes being fired has nothing to do with you. It's not something you've done. It's like a
That's true.
casting job.
That's
Just
true.
because you didn't get the part doesn't mean that you're not ready for the next project.
That's true. I've
It's
been
about the
fired.
audition.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I've been fired 2 or 3 times from radio stations, not because
Right,
I wasn't good enough, but
right.
because they woke up one morning and decided they wanted to change the format, or they wanted
Yeah.
to
Or
get
you knew,
they
or you,
wanted to get
or
their
you,
friend in or something.
right, right. I
Yeah.
remember he's the late Clyde Barnes. He was a critic for the New York Times, and
Mhm.
Arthur Sulzberger, the publisher, he went to a party and he said, oh, I'm Arthur Sulzberger. So the lady says, oh, what do you do? I'm Arthur Sulzberger Times. He said, oh, you know Clyde Barnes? He said, yes. Oh, and the next thing you know, Clyde Barnes is working for the New York Post. No, so that's how things happen.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I mean, so that's what we have to learn. I mean, we don't have to learn it, but we don't have to,
Yeah. Well, being a publicist for Broadway, how the heck did you become a producer? I mean, that's not a normal thing for a publicist to become a Broadway producer, is it?
Well, the thing is, unlike a show, as a publicist, you don't have much say.
Mhm.
As you know, you have publishers, you tell them what to do and you try to be nice.
Right.
As a producer, they can't tell you, you just, you're trying to like I said, you're the mediator, or, if like you say, you want to be in New York Times, I can't tell you the Times that you're not big enough. So, I can't tell you that.
Mhm.
But as a producer for these shows, I get to have a say in the advertising dollars.
Mhm.
And even when I go into my community, I get to share the things that they don't necessarily know about that's happening in the white community.
Mhm.
Because it's like a whole big thing. It's just tried and true. And I try not to do the tried and true. Like Thoughts of a Color Man was a dress rehearsal. Now, normally on Broadway shows, they invite the group sales, they invite blah, 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 blah. But me, I invited, the head of the NAACP.
Mhm.
I invited the Pastors Aid ladies,
Mhm.
not all of them, but
Yeah.
I invited Billy Council that owns the Cove, Harlem Young Business Owners,
Mhm.
because I know I invited Londell, that, the politician works for Inez, that
Mhm.
is at New York State Assembly. So I know these things that would help sell the show. So as a producer, I can do that, so that's what it is. Things of like producer means produce dollars. You either have the dollars and shut up, or you don't have them. And, I never spend my own money because what I'm bringing to the table. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But we're all producers. If somebody puts together, like I tell people say, oh, it takes a lot of money, but we're all producing. If you produce a birthday party or event, or you do your a barbecue, or you take your girls out for the night, but that's a producer.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
you can get and say, girl, give me $10 because I need it, because we all doing this. If you give me $10, we can do this. We can, if you give just me $10 and it costs $50 to take a yacht boat and you only have 10 and you can get together, then you're a producer because you made the contact, you got the money, you got the boat. And so,
You made
people
it
shouldn't
happen.
get caught up.
You made it happen.
You just make it happen. Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't start with the big stuff. Start with the little stuff.
Little stuff. Okay, so tell us, for your fans and my fans and folks
I have
listening.
fans.
Yeah, you got a few,
Okay.
and funny enough, they love you too. Uh, give us some little anecdotes, some little funny stories about Broadway or some of the productions that you've been in that we don't know, and we think it would be of interest.
I don't know. That's why I'm still working, because I don't have any funny stories or anecdotes. I was thinking about that. Oh, I will tell you one I can tell you. When I was
Okay.
working with Lena Horne,
Mhm.
she was at the Nederlander Theater. For people don't know, Times Square was really seedy there, right?
Mhm.
It was really
Mhm.
seedy there. And, the prostitutes or women for hire, they were like near the Port Authority bus station, because that's where the Nederlander Theater was.
Right.
And they would be out there, tricking, doing what they do to make a living. And everybody was upset because it was Lena Horne, blah, blah, blah. So I told Lena, I said, yeah, this is what's happening out there. She, what's happening? I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And she said, well, they got to make a living too. I said, yeah, that's true. Every girl got to do what you got. I said, so she said, do you know the head one, the leader? I said, I know, because, Chief, I know everybody.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I went on and I said, who's like really running the streets, not who's running you? And I said, Lena Horne. I said, Miss Horne would like to meet you. And so we went in between the matinees. I brought her name was like, I remember her name was like Peaches or something. It was like a great name, like Peach Melba or something. So we went. And Lena and that girl, she said, hey girl, how you doing? How y'all doing? Blah, blah, blah. She said, hey, Miss Horne. Hey, Lena. So she said, listen, we're all out here trying to make a living. That's what Lena said. She said,
Mhm.
yes. And so she says, what do I need to do? Because you scare my customers away. They don't know we all got to make a living. So Peach Melba said, well, I'll make a deal. From 8 to 10, from 8 to 11, from 7 to 11, we'll stay away from the Nederlander Theater in the block. And from 11, all bets are off.
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
and that's what happened. And she
Wow.
said, I'm so yeah, because I say that to say how Lena Horne was, and how we have to realize we can't look at people, because you can't say, oh, you can, where else are you going to make 500? But and then Peach, I can never, because she turned around, she said, remember, after 11,
All bets off. Huh?
all bets are off.
That's
Yeah.
a great story. Well, we'll leave it there while we take our break. But when we come back, I want to tell you my Lena Horne story.
Oh,
when
good.
we come back, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to What's Hot Harlem America with G. Keith Alexander on the Harlem America Digital Network. We invite you to go to our website, harlemamerica.com, check out our wonderful articles and some of our past podcasts. And don't forget, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. is the Foxworth Theory by Eugenia Foxworth, hosted by Eugenia Foxworth. And it's on the Harlem America Digital Network. And it's on our partner network, Voice America. We'll be right back right after this. Okay, so we're here with
I like
Tony
that
Award
music.
winner. You do? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
happy you do. I see you dancing over there.
Yeah.
We're here with the Tony Award winner, Miss Irene Gandy. And when the show is over, you'll be able to go to harlemamerica.com to Irene Gandy's page where this podcast will sit on her page, but you'll also be able to see her Tony Award acceptance speech will be up there as well. And
I'm gonna go. I'm
huh?
gonna go see myself.
Yes, you'll be able to go see yourself, give your Tony Award speech. So I told you I wanted to tell you my Lena Horne story.
Okay.
And that is, now she had the one woman show on Broadway. That's the show you're talking about, right?
Right.
Okay. So her management called me and said, G. Keith, would you like tickets to come see the Lena Horne show? I said, sure.
Sherman Sneed.
That's right. Sherman Sneed. That's right. And so he gave me 3 tickets and we sat in the first row, dead center. First row, dead center, me and 2 lovely ladies. So, you know, that's how I used to travel back in those days, you know.
I know, G. I know it firsthand.
So after the show was great. And after the show, Mr. Sneed comes up and says, hey, G. Keith, would you like to go backstage and meet Miss Horne? I said, oh, certainly. So we go backstage to meet Miss Horne. And when we get there, I see her standing with Aretha Franklin. So Mr. Sneed says, Miss Horne, I'd like to introduce G. Keith Alexander. And Miss Horne says, oh, hello there, how are you? And before I could say anything to Miss Horne, Aretha Franklin looks at me and she says, you're G. Keith Alexander? I said, yes. She says, I used to lay on the couch with my legs wide open, listening to you on the radio. I was so embarrassed because I'm standing there next to Lena Horne, who looks so demure and so, you know, so.
Not really.
Yeah.
She wasn't like that at all. Honey, I used to have to go out and get Ice-T videos.
Really?
I mean, she was a gangster. Lena was a gangster.
Wow.
And we were a perfect match for each other.
Really? Wow.
We had a good connection. We stayed friends a long time.
Oh, that's great. So what other story do you have for us?
That's it. I'm not telling them more stories.
Oh, come on.
I want to keep working.
No.
I'm trying to think of what the dead people like stories I could tell. Oh, I can tell a dead people story.
Okay.
Okay, so Bob Fosse.
Mhm.
Bob. Oh no. Does everybody remember? Because Bob Fosse is like just theater. Moonstruck.
Moonstruck. Okay.
Yeah. What was the father's name again? Oh my God.
Danny Aiello.
No, Danny was it. I worked with Danny a lot.
Danny was
Oh
a
my
friend of
God.
mine. Yeah, Danny.
Yeah, don't we loved him.
Oh yeah.
Oh my, he
you know,
was great.
I took.
Oh my
but
God, what is it? He was in the commish.
I took Madonna out to Haskell's when she was first starting out, and she met Danny Aiello out there, and that's where she asked Danny to play her father.
Vince Gardenia.
Vince
Right.
Gardenia. She asked Danny to play her father in the next video.
Okay, so I was on the road with Vince Gardenia. There was a show called Vince Gardenia. Everybody he was in the commish, and he played Cher's father
Mhm.
in Moonstruck. But he was also an actor, and we did a play called Breaking Legs about an Italian family, and we were on the road, and he was amazing. Every time we go and he'd cook and blah blah blah. And it's funny, in Trenton, he decided he was going to fall in love, and he started exercising and blah blah blah. Meanwhile, Vince always was up early because he was from an opera family, and they only had money for one room, and they used to hide him in the closet because they couldn't have kids. So he was very claustrophobic.
Mhm.
So anytime we'd have an interview, he would be up early. So this particular moment, this is the day of our opening in Philadelphia. He doesn't answer, he's not answering his phone. And he's not, I mean, I went to the door, he's not answering his phone. And that was a phone where you have to call the operator and she gets it. So finally, I had to break down the door and he was probably trying to call help him, but he was still in his shorts because he must have died
Wow.
that night. So the police come,
Mm-hmm.
you know, of course. And I'm the one that found him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like answering these questions and questions and questions. And I was like, wait a minute. We have a show to do. And I realized they thought maybe, because they kept asking to have me in separate rooms and was saying that, and I realized this is when I realized when they talk about racism, it's not necessarily like that.
Mm-hmm.
They thought I was a prostitute because there was no one, because they couldn't comprehend that I was a press agent on the show because I was Black and I was a woman and you know how I dress.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it. I said, look, and then I had to call New York. And of course, calling New York, everybody was on Jewish holiday. It was a high holidays. So we didn't have cell phones or anything. So nobody was answering the phone anyway. Nobody was answering the email. So I actually had to call to my Irish friends that owned the theater. And yeah, that's a story. And but
so they thought you were a suspect?
Yeah. Till I told him I was going to sue. Yeah. Because it was early morning, he was in his shorts. He had the phone. He was probably trying to in the middle of the night. And I didn't figure it out. I'm gonna say, oh shit. And I told him, I said, you motherfuckers think I'm whore? I'm not. If I was a whore, I'd leave before the door. I said, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna call the Irish Mafia. You know, I called the, you know, because we know everybody.
Mm-hmm. So
that was the other story.
Oh, okay.
That's my other story.
Well, you know, while we still have a few minutes left, why don't we talk about your new venture? Well, it may not be new because you started it a few years ago, but now you've got a new line. Let's talk about your fur business, Irene Gandy Furs.
Well, now I am a lady Irene because I'm a lady Irene. I was knighted by the Queen Diami from the Bantu tribe of the Congo.
Oh, really?
Before the pandemic came, I really was going to retire from Broadway and be a part of her entourage and do her global PR. But, you know, she gave me a title so I could walk through everything. And then the pandemic hit. But prior to that, I was with my furrier, Mr. Pete, the New York Fur Source for many, many years. So about the 30th year, I said, you know, I need my own fur line, how much money I'm spending. He said, oh, we can do that. But that means I didn't have time to design anything. So my fur line was Irene Gandy Fur Line. And, you know, I dealt with accessories because I have affordable furs, because I want everyone to have a fur. And everyone doesn't need a fur coat at my age. Maybe they have, you know, I have fur hats, I have fur jackets, I have fur gloves. And so that's what, and it was great. I just pick it off the rack because my thing is, I can't design nothing if you can't make it. You know what I mean? And I don't have time to design nothing. And my style is happy and whatever, you know, my style is colorful and spirited. And so I just pick it off the line and then I work with them. Now my new line, I'm working with Mr. Pete's cousin, is Steve, and it's called the Fur Warehouse, and it's called Lady Irene Furs, affordable furs in a champagne budget.
Really? So tell everyone where they can go and get their Lady Irene fur.
Oh, you know, that's a good question. Just you can email me at Lady Irene IreneGandyFurs.com.
IreneGandyFurs.com.
Yeah, and then I'll send you to, because we're having a marketing meeting now, because I thought that I would be able to market it when people come in, but now we're going to go online, and so I'm going to go online and sell first, because for safety and stuff, you know, people are nervous about coming out. So I'm going to do a few pieces online, vests and hats and stuff like that.
Well, I tell you what we do here at Harlem America Digital Network, when we have a guest.
Yeah, I sent you some list of furs.
Okay. When we have a guest, what we do is we have our brand support page. So your podcast will sit on your page at harlemamerica.com. And on that page, we're going to put up. If you send us a banner or
A
some sort
logo.
of a logo or ad for
Yeah.
your fur company, we'll put that on there. Along with, they can go to your page and listen to your Tony Award acceptance speech.
Oh, thank you, G.
Wh-
Keys.
which I might add that you thanked everybody, but you didn't thank me. You left me out, but that's all right.
I'm doing this show. That's your thank you. This is
Oh.
your thank you.
Oh, I see.
Tell Eugenia this is your thing.
Okay. Oh, so all right. So what's in the, oh, let me ask you this. Out of all that you've done, what did you have to give up to become the Irene Gandy that we know today? Did you give anything up?
I think I gave up, or they gave me up. But what I didn't, because I still have an amazing relationship with my child, Myra Gandy.
Beautiful
Yes.
young lady.
Who when
And
the
she's an
pandemic hit,
artist
she's
as
a
well.
Myra, she says, Myra, you're amazing artist. You're gonna die, Mom. Because Sardi's is closed. She says the restaurants are closed at Broadway, and she moved out of her apartment. She came back from LA and stayed with me for 4 months. I don't think of things of giving up. I think what I gained, but I think in terms of relationship, I've never had like a meaningful, I mean, it was meaningful relationship that I shared with someone, and I tried it. And I don't think that I don't know what I gave up. I think I do that, but then the Broadway opens up and here I am, because I realize I'm only in relationships when I'm not working. But my relationships I have with you, really, because I get, but my relationships I have with you and the community and stuff, I don't think about giving up, because you have the choice,
Mhm.
no one can make you happy.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Nope, that whole thing, somebody says, oh, you complete me. Someone says, oh, you complete me. I run like hell. I don't no, I can't go. I can't complete a sentence. So I know I can't complete. But I don't think I gave it. I think if my daughter didn't like me and, if she wasn't close and I speak to her 3 times, stuff like that, you haven't given, it's what you gain over these 50 years. And I'll be 78 and I'm looking great. I'll be 78
You do. You look
in
great.
November, and people still want me. I'm still working, and I live by faith, not by fear. I do. Don't get me. Don't get me. I get sad, but I know it's only. I get sad. That's when I try to take control. So my main prayer every morning is, God, please let me stay out of your way, and I can still tie my shoes by myself. No, really, I can still get down, zip up my shoes. Because a lot of times people have to let the doorman tie up his shoes. I mean,
hey, we've got 2 minutes left. What would you like for aspiring Broadway
or anybody? I told you. I'll repeat what I said.
Okay.
Here we go. This is what I live by. Never have the question. Never have the answer before the question, and never have the solution before the problem. And what I mean by that, if you break up with somebody, are you going to say, I'm going to tell this somebody if they call back? Or I use breakup because that's people respond to that. The person may never call, and you have a whole answer waiting. And the question never came. And about the solution, if I moved to New York, maybe I won't get an apartment. I'm not going to get an apartment. Nobody's going to like me, blah, blah, blah. You haven't even done it. You've talked to yourself out of stuff. And please no offense to people who weigh 500 pounds. But if you are your happy size or whatever, don't listen to people. You have always the source. Look where the source is coming from.
That's right. All right. Well, we're going to have to outsource this show. We're going to have to say goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
My pleasure. We're getting ready to run over time, but I just want to say thank you, Irene. I love you, and have a great day and a better one tomorrow. And ladies and gentlemen, don't judge your brother or sister too harshly until you walk the mile in his or her shoes or whatever she's wearing. And remember, go to harlemamerica.com for some wonderful, wonderful entertainment. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank you,
great
G.
day.
Keith.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye, as a sound guy. Bye, Genevieve.